Good day, learners. Welcome. We are on lesson 2 today. The topic is the 3 business sectors. Today, we're going to discuss how 3 business sectors are interrelated and depend on each another when we produce goods and services. Firstly, the primary sector. It involves the extraction and harvesting of raw materials in its natural state. Here we talk about products that are grown and harvested from the farm's example, and which present raw materials. Example of these kind of products are forestry, mining, farming. Also, you can add here fishing. Okay. Remember, when we need, if we need to buy tuna, we are not going to the beach or the sea and fishing out fish from there. We will go to the supermarket and purchase tuna from them. Okay. So next we have is the secondary sector. This involves the processing and transformation of raw materials into semi-finished or finished products. What does semi-finished mean? It means products that are going to be further used or processed to give you a final product. An example of a semi-finished product is cake flour. Now, cake flour is something where you cannot just put a teaspoon into your mouth. It has to be further processed, perhaps into cakes or bread before you can consume it. And of course, we have final products. What are final goods? Final goods are example, cheese, liquid fruit that comes in the box, or carton that can already be consumed. So, secondary sector involves the processing and transformation of these kind of raw materials into products that are made more convenient for consumption. Example is turning wheat into flour. Here you have a bakery that will further take the flour and make bread. Then we have sugarcane into sugar granules. These are the kind of industries we have in the secondary sector. Then in the tertiary sector, learners, it involves the transportation and distribution of products to the retailers, the consumers, and of course it includes service industries. Example of these kind of industries is an attorney or a lawyer, it's Checkers or Pick and Pay or Spa. Then we have a salon. Then we have Dawn's Trucking or Dawn's Transport. This is a transportation or logistics company, okay, that is involved in transporting final products and semi-finished products to consumers. Okay, so this is a very important section. You have to learn and understand this entire table for your June test. Then we have skills. There are 3 different kinds of skills. We call unskilled, semi-skilled, and skilled workers. And we have professional as well, which I don't have here, that you can add on. Let's go through it. Most workers in the primary sector are unskilled. Why? Because more physical labor is required more than intellectual labor. So the physical labor describes what unskilled is about. Then we have in the secondary sector that requires both unskilled and semi-skilled workers. And example of this is manufacturing industries that require both skills. Unskilled workers to perform the physical task and semi-skilled workers who understand operations and how to handle equipment. Then we have the tertiary sector. This requires more workers to be more skilled. Example here are doctors, engineers, and so forth. In a hospital, we require skilled workers. So that's a perfect example. Okay, so we talk about professional people as well. Professional people are those, example, a surgeon, a heart surgeon, or a professor. Somebody or people who have studied further and acquired furthermore qualification than an ordinary degree. Okay, so now we are going to learn about qualities of an entrepreneur. Here we're looking at a very successful person, example, example here is Elon Musk, right? I've made up a word, it's called dream. So at any time, if you fail to remember during your test, you can remember this word and put down words according to the letters. So D means dedicated, determined. R is responsible, reliable. E is enthusiastic, empowered. These kind of descriptions of a quality of a successful entrepreneur. Okay, A can be accountable, active. M is a motivator. Learners, you can also identify more qualities on your own. All right, then we come to concepts. Firstly, you have to know these for your exam purposes, test purposes as well. So what does utility mean? It is the amount of satisfaction we get from using a product. If I have to compare two kinds of product, example, Coca-Cola and Buster cool drinks, it means how much of utility or how much of satisfaction I have received after consuming Coca-Cola. Okay, so the utility of Coca-Cola is higher than that of Buster cool drinks. Then we have public sector. This describes the central government, the local councils, and state-owned enterprises, example, ESCOM and Transnet. Okay, then the chain of production means all goods must pass through the three sectors of the economy. Basically, it's the primary, secondary, and tertiary sector. Then we have economic growth. What does economic growth mean? When the sectors of the economy work well and the country produces more goods and services, which results in an increase in the gross domestic product. This is the GDP. Basically, gross domestic product can be defined as the total output of the entire labor force in a country within a specific period of time. Okay, so you have to know these concepts for your test as well. Then we have economic development. This results in a more equal distribution of wealth and resources and a better standard of living. Remember, years ago, the government decided to implement a policy or a legislation called BBBEE. And that meant taking resources from everywhere and evenly distributing it across the economy. Okay, learners? Now, I have an activity there prepared for you. Please complete this in your notebook. Okay, learners? When we get to class, I will go over the answers with you. Okay, thank you, learners.